As Paul Harvey would say, time for the news. More trouble for man arrested in theft of ambulance from Villages Hospital. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. He looks like trouble as soon as he walked through the door. Man arrested last week in theft of an ambulance from the Villages Regional Hospital remains behind bars. Denny Lee Kanensky, 60, of Lady Lake, is facing a felony charge of grand theft of a motor vehicle following his arrest late Tuesday night by Lake County Sheriff's deputies. He is accused of stealing a rural metro ambulance from the hospital. He told police he was frustrated by the long wait time for emergency room. Oh, this is a guy. This is funny. This is the guy my golf buddy was telling me a while ago. Bobby, you know who you are. I didn't know this whole story. Apparently, the guy goes to the hospital for whatever reason. And this is a serious problem we have here, just so you know. So I do kind of relate to the guy, but he was a moron. We do have a waiting in the wintertime. Hospital wait times can be terrible. Terrible. That being said, this guy goes to the hospital for whatever reason. He gets frustrated waiting around, so he decides he's going to go home. So what does he do? He goes outside the emergency entrance. There's an ambulance sitting there. He says, screw it. I'm taking this ambulance and going home. He takes the ambulance and he's going home. Apparently, he had a quarrel with the next door neighbor, whatever it was, some kind of an argument they were having. So he decided by stealing this ambulance, when he goes home, he parks the ambulance in the neighbor's driveway and goes home to his house. So when the police show up, obviously they go to the neighbor's house knocking on the door about the ambulance, and they go, we don't know anything about this ambulance. So then they finally found this guy next door and they arrested him on charges and whatever. I just thought it was hilarious. I'm sure there was drinking involved. Oh, God. Some people, man, it's hilarious. Like the guy says, you can't write this stuff. What else is there here? Oh, skimmers at the ATM bank at Stonecrest. Those skimmers are around. People, they tell you and tell you and tell you what to do. You got to start paying attention to the news. Use your credit card, use an ATM card, grab that little thing as you slide your card in and give it a shake and a hard yank. They tell you, the banks even tell you to do that. Go to any gas pump, get a hold of it, shake it, pull it real hard. You're not going to break it. And if it comes out, you just saved yourself a lot of trouble. A man convicted of child pornography takes up temporary residence in the village of Bonita. Seems that we get a lot of that here. I won't say a lot. We get a few. See that guy? Convicted of child pornography. A man convicted of child pornography in New Hampshire has taken up temporary residence in the village of Bonita. Temporary residence means, by my guess, he's probably renting a house off of somebody that doesn't give a shit. They'll rent to anybody. They don't care. All they care about is getting that monthly income coming in. That's wrong. As a landlord, that's wrong. This is a retirement community, and you should be taking more action against keeping people like this out. That's just my personal opinion. Charles Edward Shue, 72, was convicted of child pornography in 2009 in Rockingham County, New Hampshire. His victims were under the age of 16. Now, you can have the argument that he's paid his debts to society and he's following the law by reporting and all this and that. You know what? I don't even care. I don't want this guy next to me. I just don't want him here. I got grandchildren that come down here. And I'll tell you something else. Now that he's a convicted sexual predator, that's what he is not allowed to be at any neighborhood pool because the neighborhood pools is where you're allowed to take your children, visiting grandchildren. He is not allowed to be in there. He's not allowed to be sitting at a chair, watching, or any other thing. And if you see him there, you call the sheriff and just get him out of here. I have no sympathy for a guy like this. I don't care if he's paid his debt or not. Let's move on. I'm starting to get a little pissy. New Villages Culver's hiring for all positions. The Culver's is up. They're now starting to hire people. Midwest people know what a Culver's is. Florida people, they've never heard of a Culver's, but they're famous for their Butterburger. Good hamburgers, a little overpriced maybe, but everything in the Villages is overpriced. So when you compare the price of their hamburgers and what you get compared to the price of what a Villages hamburger would cost inside the Villages, it's a deal. Golf cart driver ticketed after crashing into landscaper's trailer in Village of Collier. God. How do you run into a trailer? If you're paying attention to what you're in a golf cart, but for God's sake, it does 20 miles an hour. And you're in a golf cart, there's a trailer sitting on the side of the road. Let me see here, maybe I'm wrong. A golf cart driver blinded by the morning sun and crashed into a landscaper's trailer in the Village of Collier. The accident happened at 7:30 a.m. Saturday at the intersection of Evans Ferry Trail and Queensway Terrace. No way. I'm looking at the picture here. No way. The sun did not cause that. Admit it. You were on your cell phone dicking around and you run into it. Look at this. See that trailer? I'm sorry. I don't believe his story. Oh man. Here's another good one. This is not inside the Villages. This is one of the best RV parks closest to the Villages. I'm not going to say it's the cheapest, but it's one of the best. They have their own rec center. They got like 2 or 3 swimming pools. They got shuffleboard courts. They got tennis courts, pickleball courts. I don't know what they got in there. I've been in this RV park. If I had an RV and I was a full-time RVer, I'd pay the extra money and be there because it's great. They also have bus trips, scheduled bus trips to go out 2 and 3 times a month to go to different places. And, matter of fact, my wife has actually went over to this RV park and signed up for one of their bus trips. Oh, you don't have to be at this RV park to sign up for the bus trips, but the buses pick them up there. So it's really convenient for the people that are living there, especially the wintertime people. And she went to, gosh, I don't know where she went. I think she went to Tampa to see a Broadway show, Phantom of the Opera. And she said it was great. So, I've recommended it. See that guy? Let me read a little bit here. A New Jersey snowbird was arrested after crashing into 2 RVs and a pickup truck at Recreation Plantation in Lady Lake. A woman had been home in her RV earlier Sunday morning when she heard a loud bang. Looked out the window and saw that a 2012 Ford pickup had backed into a neighbor's RV, according to an arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. The truck then lunged forward and struck another RV and a 2016 Dodge Ram pickup with Ontario license plates. She saw 70-year-old Jerome Linus get out of his pickup and go into his RV. So the police was called. They suspected drinking. He provided breath samples that registered a .095 and a .104 blood alcohol content. He admitted drinking some bourbon. So he was, and taking Xanax. Like you did not know. Tell me you did not know. God. So anyway, he was arrested, and, that's the end of that. Here's one. Enforcement process. If the deed violation is verified, the homeowner would have 3 days to come into compliance, and in this case, remove signs. If Community Watch can't do something about this, what are they doing? So these are the things that you get in arguments. One guy said Community Watch ought to start doing this or that, and Janet just laid it out to him. Community Watch doesn't do that. They can't remove signs on a private property. You have to go through a specific detailed, you have to go to community standards, and they have a specific way of handling a complaint. And then people want to argue about that. Well, what are we going to do? Well, what are we going to do? They just told you what to do. There's no more questions here. Just move on to community standards and get her done. Get her done. Let me see what else we got here. Developer tries to sell Lady Lake Commission on smaller lots for family subdivision. That's not us. Villager who serves as Leesburg baseball high school coach arrested in truck at Shamrock Lounge. He's probably drunk. I'm not even going to get into it. I get so tired of these. CVS Tech sentenced in theft of drugs, fraudulent use of Villager's credit card. Yeah, I'd say throw the book at those kind of people that take your credit card in a place where she distributes medicine, and you trust these people, doctors and lawyers. You trust these people. I do. And then find out that one of them used your credit card number to do whatever she's doing with it. Throw the book at him. I mean, seriously, just throw the book at him. Just in case you people in Finney don't know, the state prison ain't too far from where you're at. It's straight down 501. Follow it. You'll find it. That's the federal prison. Right back there behind Finney. That's where she should go. Right back there. Alright, let's move on to something else. See what else we got. I don't want to make this video too long. It takes too long to download them, especially this time. Historic trees to be spared on site of new home in the Villages. Apparently they lost that. They were arguing about cutting it. They put in a permit to cut down a couple old Spanish oak trees, and I guess people had complaining about it. And so apparently the Villages now can't cut them down. They got to leave them there. So there you go. CDD supervisor voices concerns about numerous close calls at postal station. I assume they're talking about terrible drivers. Community Development District District 7. This is up at the older area also. Is concerned about numerous close calls occurring at postal station in the village of Bonita. Supervisor Mark Galo said at Thursday's board meeting he has heard concerns from residents. There has been so many close calls between golf carts and cars and pedestrians. He asked if there could be one way in and one way out. A lot of people go at the same time to get the mail. It boils down to some people are not courteous. He said redoing the parking could mean a loss of some parking spaces. District Manager Janet Tutt pointed out that the postal station is not CDD 7 property, but rather an amenity under the governance of the project-wide advisory committee. There you go. Let's see what else we got. That's the story of the guy that stole the ambulance. That's hilarious. Villager voices complaints about dogs at the squares. Let's see what that says. Villager told Amenity Authority Committee on Wednesday morning that dogs should not be allowed on the dance floors at the town squares. Villager Charles Dunn said the squares should be reserved for people. I see people dancing with dogs at the squares. The dogs shouldn't be there. People dancing with dogs. What? How'd that happen? He says villagers appear to be taking their dogs everywhere. I have even seen them on the dance floor at the Waterfront Hotel. And when the dogs get on the dance floor, the people get off. He suggested putting up signs at the squares telling dog owners their canines don't belong on the dance floor. District Manager Janet Tutt said, the squares don't fall under the purview of the AAC. She said the squares fall under the Village Center Community Development District and are funded through taxes levied on the property owners in the business district. It's not the first time it has been brought up, Tutt added. So apparently there's been other complaints about it. Hey, look, it boils down to one thing. Old people especially, not all, but old people can do some silly shit. This is one of them. But it's pretty harmless, don't you really think? If they're holding the dog and they're pretending like they're dancing with it, it's really not hurting nobody. And I believe that's it for the week. Yep, that's it. So, that's it from the Villages, Florida today for the news. So until then, I guess I'll see you all on the other side.